All right, let's talk about this one because this is a brand new Mei build I haven't really talked about. It's kind of a variation of the survival build. I'm going to walk you through it real easily, how I make these selections, and how we play in the match. Now, we are grouped up today. We're playing with some friends. But regardless, it's a nice, easy way to talk about this. Now, this build has probably been my most successful recently on catching W's. Now, it's not going to feel like you're doing that much, but you are. You're creating a lot of value, especially if you play it the way that at least I recommend you play it. And I'm going to jump out of chat for this one, just so I can commentate so you guys don't get distracted here. Now, the S.O.P build, S.O.P stands for survive on point. It can stand for stand on point. It can stand for, you know, silly on point. I don't care. Doesn't matter. Basically, you want to try to play the objective as much as possible. Farm up your armor. And it's all about maintaining a beam connection. That's why this is really good against people like D.Va. It's a really good build against D.Va. It's pretty good against Zarya as well, especially if you feel like you're not able to get a good value. This is all about your survival. It's all about creating space for your team. So I'm trying to build up this frost armor every single round as we do this. We're using lifesteal, and we're also using field rations to help us get some healing while we're standing on objectives. So that's why it's kind of, this build is kind of centered around surviving on point. It's about lifesteal, it's about armor, and later on, it's a little bit more about tankiness. And then it has a nice little round 7 twist that I'll tell you about. Now, as long as we make it to round 5 today, we will be posting this video for you guys to check out and use the build code for your next Mei games. If you are finding that you're struggling against D.Va or Zarya lately, this is, I'm telling you, a very, very effective build. I've been running this for about 3 weeks. I have not posted it because I wanted to make sure it was as good as I was feeling it was. And I verified that it is. It's very good at securing W's against D.Va and Zarya. But we'll post this no matter what, as long as we make it to round 5. Hopefully we'll make it into round 7. If we don't, I'll just talk about the final rounds real quick so you guys can get an idea of how to play it. Big queen ult here. Still building up our frost armor. Basically, in these early rounds, it's going to take just about all game to get all your frost armor, so don't be afraid to keep firing that. Remember, your goal is to make sure you can survive, become like basically a second tank for your team. Is there any chance I can get? I'm farming this up. Ugh, excuse me. It's kind of a weird wall. Let's finish this up, this last fight. Take this out, and delicious. All right, cool. Okay, going into round 2 of the build. Now, this, especially like early to mid, we're trying to build up our lifesteal, and we're trying to make sure that we have 3 things in place, usually by round 3. We have Plasma Converter, Techno Leech, and then Phantasmic Flux. Having those 3 lifesteals together is really good for feeding into the overhealth from Phantasmic Flux, because it triples, I guess thirds the amount of time it takes to build up, the more lifesteal that you have on top of it. So as we're playing this, we're just trying to get more lifesteal, trying to get more armor. Now you can do a balance of this. Now, since they're running D.Va, I am going to grab Shield Buster. That's going to help me farm this up really quick. It's a little bit more damage to help feed into our frost armor quicker. We've got plenty to work with right now. So, all right, round 2, same thing. If you ever forget what to do with this build, just look at the title. Look at the name of the build. S.O.P build. Stand on point. If you ever forget what to do, there's your guide. Now, it doesn't mean feed your brains out, but, you know, exist kind of near the point. Be a tank. Kind of opens it up for your tank to go do other stuff. So the reason we have this build is especially when we're playing against teams that Mei is really ineffective against. So the best thing we can do is just survive as long as possible and distract people. And that's kind of the goal of this. So I don't want to use my wall aggressively. I'm definitely using it almost passively or defensively when they push me. So I don't mind playing this. We're not looking for aggressive walls to push into. Now, if you can get a go one, go for it. But there's nothing wrong with playing it safe. You know, if you need that wall to live, then great. You seen that Zen there? That was completely fine with that one there. And we're going for some primary fire, build up that frost armor where we can, and survive on point. A little bit out of position here. I'm gonna drop this just to make it a little bit easier. Let's get freeze on the cast here. Oh, if we can live, maybe. No, we don't. That was a pretty good play there. Like the trade, we did. Our team kind of rotated back, and we were kind of stuck out front. So that was probably the best case scenario there. Aside from being able to live through that too. All right, back to the point. Guys, do you remember what I was supposed to be doing right now? That's right. Standing on point. Let's get it. There's one step. Actually, I'm going to drop that just in case our JQ wants to rotate. Jump out here a little bit. I think we're probably going to go down here. I'll try to live for as much as I can, but I think we're going to be going down. Maybe play on top of the wall. Surviving on point. Surviving on point. Building up that frost armor. Trying to maintain that lifesteal as long as possible. Actually, our Zenyatta's popping off, dude. Whoa. Wait, Rando kind of goated. Zenyatta just carried that match. Yeah, also important on this build is make sure you have a Zenyatta that just carries. So we're going to wait for our regroup here. I'm actually going to stay in here for a second. Make sure we don't get spotted. Our team should be back-ish. Maybe I can even walk in the back line a little bit. Remember, I'm not trying to go for a picks. I'm just trying to stall things out. So now that our JQ is almost there, and we're going to push now. Remember, use that wall defensively if we need to. But again, that Consumer Rush, they'll build up the frost armor faster. It's a bad wall. Take the soldier. I think we should be fine. Let's do a little spooky special here, shall we? Oh no, she caught it. Just kidding. No, she didn't. She freezes. Good night. Cool. All right. Round 2 looking good. Now, I am hoping we don't absolutely just destroy him here. Round 2, you do want to grab Iceberg. Now, you're not trying to get much value from Iceberg. You're just investing in the later rounds, so we can use Blizzado to get our self-healing. In later on for Permafrost, when we're going to be scaling up our AP for that round 7. But for round 3, just grab Iceberg, and we're not going to be building into AP at all. We don't need to get damage off that AP just yet. That's for later if we want to grab Icy Veins. Right now, we're just going to grab a little bit more survivability. Like for this, you can grab Vitality if you want. If you're still feeling like surviving a little bit more. Or sorry. At this point, we definitely want to grab Phantasmic Flux. So go back to our build. We grab Phantasmic Flux. 3,800 left. I think what I might do here, just to make it a little bit easier on myself. Do I want to grab Vitality? No, let's just keep it. Yeah, let's just keep fuel rations. Then we're going to grab like, yeah, like custom stock. I think it'll be fine. Okay, round 3. Now, like I said, this build, I have rarely needed to take this all the way to round 7. And round 7 is kind of a wild card for this build. Usually I end up winning with this build by round 5 anyways. That's what I mean. It's like it's very effective at I've played probably 10 to 20 games on this build now, and it's just been extremely effective at securing wins, especially against D.Va. And it's very simple. It's hard to mess up. So slow this down. Again, building up frost armor. Your goal, remember, isn't to always be looking for picks. It's just to build up your frost armor and act as another tank. And if you can kind of keep that, it helps your playstyle a little bit by remembering that you're not there to make aggressive plays. You're just there to live, and it's going to help you play a lot more safe as you play this match. We're going to try to poke this out a little bit. We're down our soldier. I'm kind of going to let my queen set the pace here. I'm not really going to initiate. I'm there to act as kind of just like a buffer. Use the wall to separate here. Not taking too much damage. If they want to get the kill on the soldier, great, but we're getting frost armor. That's kind of our priority. We're building up our tankiness every single round as we do this. There we go. Nice little wall on the Zen, maybe. That's our ice block, so we are going to have to play a little bit. You know, I might even go for another spooky special here. Or we just drop this here. She didn't need it. That's Sly. Little risky freeze there. Separated, though, for sure. Again, farming up the D.Va here. Which we can. That's the mech. Don't know if we can kill that. And again, I'm just going to play with my queen. Don't have to do anything crazy. Which is weird. I'm normally the crazy play kind of person. I like doing goofy plays. This build, very straightforward, very easy. Just got to do your job and get value, you know? So it's very simple. And you will survive more often. You'll find that you're a lot tankier. That does not mean you get to make more aggressive plays. That just means you get to be kind of like a mitigation for your front line and pulling attention away from other people that are going to be doing damage in living, right? Because in comps like these, Mei's not like super great with high mobility, hit scan kind of things, especially with tanks. D.Va's probably one of the better tanks at dealing with Mei just because of her mobility. It's obviously very difficult to hit really good walls on her. So in this case, just creating a very tanky existence here and doing this right in front of her face is probably your best option. All right, we're gonna keep it in the choke here. Let them kind of take care of that baby D.Va. I'm just gonna wall this. Remember, don't be afraid to use that cryo. Never want to die with cryo, especially in a build like this. You have plenty of time to react because you do have a lot of HP, and it scales the more HP you get later on. So you're always gonna have plenty of time to react to damage. So make sure you use that cryo. Don't die with cryo. All right, freeze ready to go. Let's see. Hopefully we don't mercy roll him here. I would like to talk a little bit longer about this. Let's look for freeze. Drop that down. We freeze her. She's out of it, though. That's fine. We might be able to get a pick. And... okay, let's hold the wall since our queen's out there. I'm going to try to live just a little bit longer. And you can see it's really easy to farm up our Phantasmic Flux overhealth with this triple lifesteal. Getting 30% lifesteal on your damage, it feeds back into that armor so well. It just makes it so easy to live as I die immediately, but Discord will help that a lot. And this actually, again, completely fine with this. I would like to talk a little bit longer about this build. So basically, we're guaranteed to round 5 now, which is fantastic. Hooray, we love that. We somehow get MVP. Probably because of the amount of lifesteal we got. We're actually taking a lot of the heals away from our supports. So we're doing close to the amount of healing that our Zen is doing. So we are taking away some of that. We do get a decent amount of credits from lifesteal for Mei. Her self-heal does generate a decent amount of credits for her. So it's really easy to make up this credits with this build, especially with the lifesteal. So, all right. Let's see. Going back to the build here, let's start upgrading our greens. Now we do want to keep these 3 for a pretty decent amount of time. These are going to be the last three things that we start upgrading or changing. So we're going to keep these. Sell this off. Now at this point, we can grab Icy Veins to get double the damage on our ice wall, which I do think is worth it. Especially if you're noticing that you're getting good walls, feel free to grab this. Now, if you feel like your walls aren't really doing anything, feel free to dump into some other stuff, weapon damage, more survivability, whatever you'd like. I'm going to keep the shield buster here, and we have enough for... we can just grab custom stock again, and we'll look pretty good here. So I don't think we need any more survivability. I think we're pretty tanky with the armor that we got. So we don't need to upgrade too much more. Actually, you know what? Do I want to change my mind on that? Nah, this will be fine. Yeah, I don't mind being a little bit more like this. The lifesteal should be good. As long as I can continuously fire on the D.Va, we're going to be very, very hard to kill. So maybe later I'll probably upgrade to Vitality. Just get some more armor on top of that. Let's see. They're not running Codebreaker either, which is great for us. So nothing much on there. Looks like D.Va's running Micro Missile build. Cass is running the roll, basically the roll auto shot thing. Or yeah, he's just going for headshots. Soldier on the auto aim build. All the good stuff. Oh my god, 5 HP. We haven't built up any frost armor. So let's push up here. I can actually get a really good wall. Now that we've got more damage on it, we can play a little bit more aggressive. As long as we're playing safe around corners. Only really use it if you feel comfortable with pushing up there. So it's a good little fight there. Finish it up. Turned in our favor. I don't think we really did that much to help, but sure, we'll take it. Good shots, good walls, though. Putting a lot of pressure on the supports there, not being able to rotate. So let's take second point here. I'm actually going to walk top. So I'm going to pressure their tanks since I'm a little bit more chunky and survival. I'm just going to take my time. I'm not going to like hard push them or anything. Just going to get them to back up. I don't have any heals yet. Let's try to get some lifesteal. We got overhealth from our queen. There we go. That's what we needed. So D.Va's kind of our lifeblood. Consider her like a blood sack for vampires, you know? Which this is kind of a variation on the vampire build. Mix it like vampire and survival. She's basically your blood bag to make sure you live. So let's wait that out for a sec. We'll probably drop here soon. Didn't need it. That's awesome. I think the wall helped a little bit. Force the Transcendence out. Get a pick there. And then I'm just going to play on point. Oh, man, I go down quick. I think our next point we should be fine, though. We're definitely better on this point with Mei and the Queen, just to funnel them in a little bit. So, but the next point here, we got everybody almost back from spawn. Get away for our JQ, so I'm going to back up just a little bit. Remember, playing near her is kind of our goal for the most part. Playing on point, usually where the tank is. Now, if like your tank doesn't want to like venture off, that's completely fine. You don't need to play next to your tank. Remember, you're kind of there to act as like a replacement for your tank to distract him a little bit. That team is very low. Up to Cassidy. Yeah, we haven't gotten the build up too much of Frost Armor. I think at this point, D.Va's kind of just given up on focusing us for too long. She can tell that she's not really going to kill us. So you can see she's just like shifting focus. But again, that's fine. As long as we have our blood bag, right? It should be fine. I'm going to use that cryo prematurely. I'm going to toss this down. If they decide to push. Oh, she did grab that. That's crazy. That was a huge DM. Oof. Okay, we'll take a little even match now. Oh, my bad, Thunder. That would have been your touch. Let's check the status. 2-2. Oopsies. I can't tell if 30% lifesteal is really decent if you think about it. It's okay, so it's not the 30% lifesteal. It's not about the 30% lifesteal alone. It's about the fact that the 30% lifesteal is feeding into your overhealth as well. That's the reason this works so well. Like 30% lifesteal on its own, it's whatever. But it's the fact that you're also building into it. You build it 3 times as fast. If you have Phantasmic Flux and you have it says while at full lifesteal grants up to 100 health. If you have 30% lifesteal, it triples your speed on how fast you build it up. So you're constantly feeding back your overhealth while you're close to full health. So it's really, really good at maintaining that overhealth and like building it up really quickly. Yeah, it just feeds into each other, basically. Okay. Yeah, that's the only reason we run this. Like, honestly, I wouldn't really run triple lifesteal if it didn't have the overhealth component. I would just use Phantasmic at that point and just take the 15. But it works out much better. So again, you can probably just follow the guide at this point. We can look to upgrade a little bit more. Now, I'm going to still probably keep the lifesteal for a little bit. I'm going to grab Codebreaker, though. That's going to help farm up the D.Va armor a little bit faster. Again, feed up our lifesteal and feed up our Frost armor real quick. And now that we have our wall with Blizzinator, we're also getting 15% self-regen while we're doing that. So we don't mind building a little bit more into this now. Shield Buster, I'm going to give up for Talon Mod just to get a flat 15% weapon power. And we should be good. So now this is kind of the part of the game where your wall is useful to you, but it's going to be a little flimsy. And it's going to be flimsy until next round when we grab Sturdy Snow for it to help solidify the HP on your wall, as well as give it a little bit more power, a little bit more damage on your wall. So a little bit flimsy on the wall, but don't be afraid to use it just like you normally would here. Actually, really big wall here. Super juicy. And again, don't forget your wall also feeds into your lifesteal as well, into your Phantasmic Flux. So the ability power that you do also feeds into that overhealth. Just not at the same rate that your primary fire does. So, and you really should never need to grab any kind of ability lifesteal outside of Phantasmic. Again, you're not going to get an insane amount of overhealth or opportunities to get a lot of wall damage against comps like this. Remember, this is built for like Zarya and D.Va. This is actually a really good wall there too to separate them out for this fight. Let's try to find this D.Va again. There she is. Cool. Our Queen's discorded. I might actually wall this just because the Discord's going to be... Oh, man, I go down quick too. Micro Missile build is online. Love that. If that micro missile is going to cause us problems this game, let's just keep an eye on it. If we're dying a lot to it, we'll probably grab something like Nebula Conduit. Or farm up our armor a little bit more. You're right. Take away from our damage, put a little bit more into living, right? Because the goal is to survive. If we can get damage, that's great, but if we're struggling to survive, we got to build more into survivability. There we go. Probably could have done that a little bit earlier. Make sure we don't die to Cassidy. Probably gonna drop here soon. Wall him out. And let's just let's live for a little bit. Let's see if they can push up here to help me. Oh, we might be dead. Yeah, we're dead. I think it's good. I think it's a good one. This is gonna stagger them out really well too. Hopefully we get the Zen as well. That forces the Zen Transcendent, so I'll take that trade. I really like the staggers there. If they're gonna play without their tank like that, forcing out the staggers is really important. Let's farm up the D.Va here a little bit. She might have bomb again. She goes down. Let's go. That Code Breaker helped out so much. You can see how much that's farming up. I think if I'm going to keep anything, I'll probably make sure I keep that Code Breaker. That's a good wall in this end. There you go. And I think we should be able to take this round now. Yeah, perfect. Nice and easy. So really easy round there. 3. What I've noticed, micro missiles are now online. We go down still kind of quick to micro missiles, so we might need a little bit more survivability. Keep the Code Breaker. Code Breaker plus Talon mod, very good if we can keep the damage. So those two things, very important. We can give up our ability power. You can see the walls were good, but they're not constantly getting us value. Kind of like our primary is. Our primary is getting a lot of value against the D.Va. And then we can use the Blizznato obviously just for self-healing at that point. We don't need to worry about AP. AP does not affect Bliznato's healing. You can literally do 0 AP and still get your 15 healing from your wall, which is great. Like, for example, if I feel like I'm dying very quickly, I might even get rid of Icy Veins, completely get rid of my AP power, buy Ice Sheet instead, which is in this build. Used to have it in this build. If you want to, you can always go grab it. Ice Sheet doubles your wall health, so you can keep it without having the AP to scale it, and then invest the rest in survival and weapon power, depending on how you want to do this. Now, I would like to keep it. I do like having the option to do some wall power, so we're probably going to sell that. Keep Code Breaker, grab Sturdy Snow Fort to give our wall a little bit more survivability. And at this point, I think what I'm probably going to do is sell Plasma Converter, and I'm going to grab Vitality to get some more armor on top of it. Just so we don't get farmed through that beginner armor on Frost Armor too quickly, right? Because the armor actually does help with the reduction on the missiles that we've talked about recently. Thank you to Remy, by the way, for going in and double checking on that. The armor does mitigate it a decent amount. At least enough. Mid-game, late game, we'll probably keep the armor a little bit more until we can afford Nebula Conduit to really get our damage reduction on there. So that's what we did. More survivability, keep the weapon power, make our wall a little bit more survival so we can play around it and get that self-heal while we're doing it. So like now we can probably even play a little more aggressive. Remember, you have to be in your mini blizz to get that self-heal. So you can push up into those walls a little bit. You can either use it defensively or aggressively at this point. So I really can zone this out, be a little bit more of a tank like this, and I just play inside of my wall mini blizz, and it's going to self-heal me for 15% of my life every second, which is a really big amount. It's really good. So we just keep zoning him out here. Let's not die, but I can get that back in this to get the self-heal. Let's make sure we live. Farm up a little of our Frost Armor. I think we're going to end up losing this fight. Yeah, just try to get some Frost Armor there. Let's try to engage a little bit more with the D.Va. Now, she does have some pretty good mobility, so there's not much I can do there. I kind of have to wait for her to engage, or I can just kind of see who she's diving a lot, and then kind of play around that person. So I'm going to keep an eye on where she's kind of playing, where she's going, and just kind of zoning it out. Just keeping an eye on her. Actually, this might be a great opportunity for a wall, maybe? And he drops. Actually, this could be big. I say it's a pretty good wall there. Did make it out. That's a good anti, though. Take a pick there. Keep farming up our Frost Armor. D.Va's our prime target. Remember, with Code Breaker, we can farm that up even quicker. We could actually probably kill her, maybe. Nah, she's got too much HP. Keep doing that. And I think we should be maxed out on Frost Armor at this point. Or at least close to it. Yeah, we've been doing quite a bit of damage on that D.Va at a pretty fast rate, so should be farming up that. You can see we got a nice solid amount of armor now on top. Help us live through those micro missiles. And also helps with the amount of healing. Whoa, my camera just reset. Helps with the amount of healing per second we get with our Bliznado, because that scales with our max HP. So Frost Armor is really good to feed back into that. We just have multiple ways to keep our armor basically online with lifesteal and the self-heal. So we can place for a little bit. Now, this is a little bit risky here. Probably help with that. You can see, again, I'm getting my self-heal from the wall. I'm just going to keep playing this. Now, I can back up a little bit now that the wall's gone. Maybe get a pick on the Zen. That's actually huge. Since she jumped in the air, I can't freeze her, unfortunately. I'm going to wall this out. Maybe keep her from touching. Oh, almost got her. So let's farm this up a little bit. And then let's kill her. That would have been a fun little play. All right, I think that should be game. Just about. If Soldier decides to let us be done. If Zen decides to let us be done. If Mercy decides to let us be done. If Cassidy decides to let us be done. All right, and that's game. So that's the S.O.P build. Like I said, guys, this thing is very easy to run, and it's very effective. I know I've posted like the armored core build before. This is much more effective than the armored core build. I basically phased that build out completely at this point. 100% recommend this if you're running against teams with D.Va, with Zarya, or if you really just feel like you're not going to get much value with your weapon, or like be able to get easy picks, or be able to get good value with AP. The S.O.P build is like legitimately always a good alternative. Now, you can run this just about any tank. I've ran it against Reinhardt. I've ran it against JQ. It's still effective. It's just most effective against Zarya and D.Va. So make sure to grab this one in your kit. The build code is posted in the description of this video, so you guys can check that, add it to your list, and be ready for competitive when it drops next season. So you can have a good amount of variety of Mei builds that you can pick from depending on what the enemy team's running. So anyways, that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like the video on your way out. Catch us live on stream at twitch.tv/Spooki Show. All right, everybody. So before I let you go, I did want to take a second to talk about the AP tank for the round 7 of this S.O.P build. The reason I want to talk about this separately is it is an entirely different build for round 7. It completely shifts just about everything in the build, kind of for the most part. Your playstyle changes, the items you pick. And so I actually have a completely separate build just for round 7. This is to make it really easy for me on round 7 to make sure I'm picking in the order the most important items I need just for round 7 specifically. So I do have the share code on here. You guys can copy that and have your own AP tank round 7, or you can just memorize these if you want. Now, the powers are going to be the same as the S.O.P build, so obviously this is dependent on using those same powers, but it's specifically about the items and how they work. So once we're in round 7, we do have the Frost Armor, we have our Ice Wall, we have Bliznado, and we have Permafrost, which is going to make us a little bit more chunky, a little bit more bigger, right? We have that 15% size increase, but we do shift everything to make sure that we have AP damage. We have Sturdy Snow Fort, so Icy Veins and Sturdy Snow Fort help us with our AP damage with our wall. We have Rustung to give us more, right here, Rustung, to give us 10% damage reduction and just 15% extra health while we're below that 30%, or well, sorry, 15% health no matter what, 10% damage reduction while we're below 30. Nebula Conduit and Ogundamu Reduction Field are going to work together fantastically to mitigate the amount of damage. And these aren't going to, these three don't interfere with each other, kind of like how I'm always worried about Ogundamu and like Divine Intervention, because sometimes they'll interact with each other that sometimes result in you taking more damage than you should from those, just because of how they cut the damage down for each other. So these actually work really well together in tandem to really mitigate the damage down that you're taking, while also buffing up the amount of HP that you have to get the value from Bliznado's 15% life heal that we get from that. Now, obviously, we're going to have plenty of AP, so you can just stack up as much as you want here too. Don't worry about the size increase. If you can afford Champions Kit, grab it. If you can't, grab Nano Cola. That'll be completely fine. So now remember, you are going to be chunky on this round 7, and it's very important that you're always playing inside of your Bliznado when you can, using it defensively, but early to make sure you heal yourself out. A lot of times, if you try to use it too late, you're already going to be low enough on HP that you can get bursted down real quick. You need at least a good solid second and a half to stand in that Bliznado to make sure that your pretty much survival is at its peak during this. So use it early, use it often defensively, play inside of it, and then let the people that are pushing you inside of your wall take that damage from your mini blizz, while also still farming up your frost armor, using your primary to pressure them out a little bit and just farm up the ult charge. Now you're going to get most of your ult charge from your self heal through Bliznado, so that is where you're probably going to be getting most of your ult charge, is actually taking damage from enemies and then self healing it. So that's where you're going to get it, and you'll farm up your ultimate very quickly with this build in round 7. So just so you guys are aware, this build shifts from like a lifesteal to more of a self heal, more of a lot of HP, a lot of self-heal, and a lot of damage reduction, while also having AP now. So you basically get rid of all of your damage in your lifesteal and just go into self-heal. So if you guys were wondering about that, thank you for chilling out and listening to it. I wanted to make sure I was clear on why I have a separate build for round 7. And it's to make sure I don't miss any of this, because this is all you have to run. Round 7, with these powers, this is what you run against D.Va and Zarya, like just 95% of the time. So if you have any questions about it, feel free to let me know. I'm going to post both the share codes in the description. You can obviously see them on screen too if you'd like. But that's it for the S.O.P build. I'll continue refining this as the weeks go on, and as Stadium goes into its first competitive season next season, like legitimate competitive season next season. Yeah, we'll keep you updated on all the build updates for Mei, for all the other heroes in Stadium. Thank you guys for watching. All right, we'll see you on the next one. Peace.